Hi, this is BRR. Today we'll talk about Agile Principles. This is the topic of today's session. So we'll see what are all the Agile Principles we have to go through the Agile process. Before getting to this Agile Principles, let me talk about two lines about Agile and what is the need of Agile in the project development process. So Agile is a term used to describe approaches to software development, emphasizing incremental delivery, collaboration, and continual learning. Or you can say Agile is a time-boxed, iterative approach to software delivery that builds software incrementally from the start of the project instead of trying to deliver it all at once near the end. If you look at before Agile project management, looking at the waterfall model or some other traditional approach, when the customer giving a requirement for development and delivery, so everybody what they will be doing is they will be planning in the a larger time span, and they will be delivering entire project at the end of the timeline date. So there is no like time box or iteration kind of delivery or iteration kind of standards or iteration kind of discussions. They will be doing things in single time, like discussion would be in a single time and the delivery would be in the single time, that would be in the longer time span at the end of your project completion. But it has some problems in the traditional approach, like giving everything in the last moment. Might be the desired requirement might not be matched, or delays will get happen, or the requirement will get changed, or the management will get changed, or the team will get changed. There are a number of problems we have in the traditional approach. So to overcome all these approaches, so we will be using Agile. So here in this, we will be having a time box, that means limited time for the project development, and the iterative approach to software delivery that builds software incrementally from the start of the project, and will continuously collaborating with the end users and customers and team members, and we'll be having updates on a daily basis so that we will not going beyond the time box. So if you talk about Agile, there are so many Agile process models we have, like Scrum, Extreme Programming, and Adaptive Software Development, Dynamic System Development, Crystal, Feature-Driven Development, Agile Modeling. There are a lot of process models that we'll discuss in the later session. But any of these Agile process models, we should follow some principles. What are those principles? So we have 12 number of principles in Agile. So you can see the diagram here, the 12 number of principles. And from the first principle is our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. This is the first principle. Generally, this if you look at any project, we'll be having 4 attributes like scope and resource and time and quality and risk. So these are the 5 characteristics. So should be having the project management. Scope should be defined, like defines what will be covered in a project, and resource, what can be used to meet the scope, like, and time, what tasks are to be undertaken and when we are going to take, and quality, the spread or deviation allowed from a desired standard, And last characteristic is risk. It defines in advance what may happen to drive the plan of course and what will be done to recover the situation. So these are the 5 characteristics in the project management aspect. So based on these, we'll be planning and we'll be developing and we'll be delivering it. So if you look at an Agile, also we'll be having same principles and same characteristics. We have to follow it. But apart from those, the 5 characteristics: scope, resource, time, quality, and risk. We have to follow these 12 principles as well. If you look at first principle, the first principle is highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So this means we are reducing the time between documenting the project and reporting to your customer and then getting feedback. You can focus on the real goal of the project, which is delivering what the customer wants, but not what you planned. So basically, based on the customer satisfaction, if you're delivering a project in the shorter time, the customer should be satisfied and should deliver early, and continuous delivery will happen if required with the valuable software. This is the first principle we have to follow in the Agile. And coming to second principle, welcome changing the requirements even late in the development Agile process. Hence, change for the customer competitive advantage. So basically, we need to adapt the change. Even when customer requests a change late in the project phase, we have to implement it. Why we need to wait for another project to explore another iteration when you can do it now and get it delivery working software frequently? So we have to accept the change, and we have to do it by adding into the product backlog and moving into the next sprint. That we have to accept it. This is the second characteristic, principle. And the third one is delivery working software frequently from a couple of weeks to couple of months with a preference to the shorter time scale. Like if you're adapting a change, like so in between when you're giving a review for a sprint, so in the sprint review, the customer asks for a change and you are willing to accept or you are going to adopt a change, then you are going to have to give your cutting in stone schedule. That means you have to provide the plan, delivery plan, schedule, you have to provide it, or at least create a shorter range to run your tasks. So one way this Agile is saying that, the cutting out the documenting and that is required with traditional project management when planning your schedule before you ever start a task. The trouble is a lot of paperwork has to be done in the traditional, but in Agile, that paperwork is not necessary. It only shows the things to the business people, and developers must work together. So this is only the principle in the Agile. So we have to deliver the project from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with preference based on the time box in the shorter time scale. This has to be followed in the Agile. And when it comes to both business peoples and business peoples and developers must work together daily throughout the project. This is the major principle, and this is the prime principle. We have to follow it because we should we should build some strong trust on between business peoples and developers, so that we'll be having proper design requirement will be sharing between the teams and will be delivering it in the proper within the time box. It's like both are talking in a bit different languages, even though, and in a sense they are like, but both the business and developer side of the project are crucial to its success. You must build a bridge between the two teams so they can understand each other, and as important, work together. This is what the fourth principle we have to follow. So we have to be strong enough and trust enough between the teams and business and people and the developers, so that will definitely have, the project would be delivered in the within the time box, and will it get succeed. And if you come to the fifth principle, build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. This also very the important principle in the agile, basically. In other words, I can say that we should not micromanage the peoples, and we should not go to the low level people or junior level people and asking like what you are doing and what is the update of the task, kind of thing. So things can be discussed and collected in the stand-up meetings, like what he's doing it, and like how he's doing it, or what you did yesterday and what you're doing today, and do you have any deviations, kind of thing will be questioned, and getting the uh, relevant information about these two things in the daily stand-up, but not every moment or every second going to the low level or the middle level, junior level peoples, and asking what you're doing and what kind of task you are attending, kind of things should not be do that. And that means we have to avoid micromanagement. It does not work actually. So it takes you away from what you should be focusing on actually. It unnecessarily leads at moral and sense talent packing. So better let them do what they are good at, like doing off job. Of course, you will be monitored that work and step in as needed, but stay out of the way they are doing it. That's always better for the quick delivery and the task completion. So that we have to follow it. We have to give some freedom for the developers, and we have to hand over the development environment to them to do their job. This is the fifth principle. And what is the sixth principle is the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Yes, this is the sixth principle actually. So what this sixth principle is saying basically is like when you want to talk to any person, so one-to-one or face-to-face conversation is good, instead of like sending mails or speaking over phone, or saying someone to asking someone to carry the information and give it to someone, like that will not work out. So always it is suggestible, like and when you documenting like conversations or creating unnecessary mails, even using apps like Slack. If you look at any organization, they'll be having their local messengers, like some companies are using their own tools, messengers, IM, internal charting. So that kind of way we can use Slack tool. This is a cloud-based tool, so where you can send internal messages between the team members and teams, and you can get the information from the persons. So many organizations are using this Slack tool. So these are unnecessary, are well and good, but when you are trying to move swiftly, you don't have time to wait for a reply. You need immediately answers. And the only way to achieve that speed of response by talking to your team member or a team in person. So sometimes you may require response immediately or urgency. Then it is better to speak to the team or speak to team member in person, instead of sending mails and like using chatting in the tools like internal messages and Slack kind of tools, or documenting conversation or speaking over phone. It's unnecessarily dragging the time. So always suggestible is talking to the direct person, or team would give a fast response. That is what the sixth principle. And when it comes to seventh principle, working software is the primary measure of progress. Definitely. This means is the software working correctly or not, first of all. So apart from other things, in each and every sprint. So everybody will be looking at the software or the developer task is working properly or not. You are not measuring the progress by checking off tasks and moving across your scheduled timeline, but uh, but by the success of the software is the subject of your project, basically. So at the end of the day, everybody will be looking at the project delivery and project working status, but not the timeline or the like crossing of your tasks or completing of your tasks or winding up of your tasks in the sprint. So everybody will be thinking of the software, how it is working, and so how it is, the executing. That is ultimate. So that we have to concentrate more on this seventh principle. And coming to eighth principle, so eighth principle is, the agile process promote substantial development, conformed development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. So that means a simple one way, I can say, like one reason for short sprint of activity is not only that they lend themselves to accepting change more readily, but they also help to keep your team motivated. If you are working on a project for an extended period, there's going to be burnout. It's not avoidable, basically. Don't overtax your team and with too much work time. It's going to impact the quality of your project. So get the right team for the right job. That is what the caption of this eighth principle. We have to give substantial development, and we have to encourage, you know, should be, maintainable constant pace indefinitely. Otherwise, the complete work will get destroyed, and it won't delivered in the planned time span. So always suggested to get the right team for the right job. This is what the eighth principle is saying. So come to the ninth principle, continuous attention to the this is I think continuous attention to the technical excellence and good design enhance agility. So this also explains if anything, if any of the team members stuck up with any technical challenge, or they are looking for any assistance and help, then we have to attend that very frequently, continuously, so that we'll get good design enhancement and good development if you look at the throughout the development. That is what the ninth principle is saying. And 10th one is simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not being done in essential. So always plans short tasks, the sprint, like 3 to 4 weeks, whatever the sprint time you are giving it, you plan with short, short tasks, short time tasks, and delivery them in the time within the time box in a simple city manner. So don't work hard, or don't ask the team to be stay late night, giving of huge multiple tasks and asking them to complete, may get overburden on the resource, and you may lose the confidence, and you may get the you know you may definitely get the definitely not get the good quality of work. So these are the impacts when you are not planning the tasks in the sprint in the simplicity manner. And when it comes to the 11th principle, the best architectures, requirements, and design emerges from the self-organizing teams. So this also tells about best architectures, requirements, and design from self-organizing teams. So if you have the self-organizing teams, and if they have better coordination, better collaboration, definitely you will be getting best architectures per the requirements, and the development also run very smoothly without the uh, delays and the miscommunications, misconception between the teams. So always the self-organizing teams can do better. This is what the 11th principle. And come to the 12th principle, at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavioral accordingly. So when you interact with the teams every day, definitely they feel something, the someone is looking and caring of the team and sharing of the task and helping us, and they do better compared to the previous day, and they definitely looking at the additional stuff and additional work they will be accepting, and they will be looking at additional technologies if they require anything. So these things will comes when you regularly interact with the teams and asking about what you did yesterday and what you're doing today, kind of feedback. If you're getting it from the team, like by conducting sprint meeting or daily stand up, so definitely it will adjust the behavior of teams. Sometimes you may work with different teams, scrum of scrum, or a different team, more than one team, and between these two scrum masters, there might be behavioral changes or gaps. Those things will get rid of or will resolve if you can, I mean, implement this regular interval interaction with the teams. So these are the 12 principles which we have in Agile process. If we can follow these 12 Agile principles, definitely will deliver the project within the time box, and should not delayed and should not move to next sprint, or should not be added to the backlog, kind of thing. And if you look at the explanation about each principle, so this is how. So first principle, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. As I said, like reducing the time between documenting the project, reporting to your customer, and then getting feedback. You can focus on the real goal of the project, which is delivering what the customer wants, not what you plan. So this is what I explained you. Since they are only looking at the delivery, but not the plan what you did it, they are always looking at the delivery. So because they are reducing the documenting, reporting the customer, getting feedback, focusing on real goal of the project. This is are basically taking less time, and they are only looking at the delivery of the aspect. And welcome changing requirements. So we have to adopt the change, and we have to submit the modified plan. And third one is deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. So this is also we have to follow it. Like we should deliver work from a couple of weeks to the couple of months with a preference. So, and so this is about the 12 principles. And if you should follow the 12 principles, will make project management as very uh, quality product or quality project can be delivered, and customer can feedback you very positively. And sometimes I think I can say, like there are some tools in the project management like burn down chart, dashboards, grand charts. This will help you to see like how the process or how the development is going on every day. So we have to look at those also to measure the principles. I hope it clears you like what is agile, and so what kind of benefits and what kind of the standard and the process we need to follow in agile. So thank you.